So main agenda for today's session is first we'll start with what is identifier, what are the rules to declare a identifier, and then we will discuss what are the different keywords. So major topic for today is data types. So this data types itself at least we require some 1.5 hour to 2 hour session. So if possible, I will cover whatever possible data types we are going to cover in today's session. Because first, in order to write any Python program, you need to know what kind of data types available. Because for every project or for every application you are going to work that contains, means that require one or more kinds of data types, means inputs. So that may be string or float or integer, means we'll discuss what are the different data types. And here mainly we are going to discuss. So we are having primary data types and secondary data types. So primary will not take more time. We are going to discuss whatever possible in primary data types, but most important is this secondary data type. So you need to spend some time to understand. You need to work a lot of examples in this secondary data type list, like list, tuple, set, dictionary. So whenever you are working with Python, these are the very, very important terms you need to learn, because whatever the application you are going to work, at least one or more times you are going to use these kind of data types. So here I'm going to spend some time to discuss different examples for list, tuple, set, and dictionary, how to create all these elements. So first we'll start with identifiers. Yeah. So what is identifier? So why it is important? Means, for example, if you are writing something in a Python program, that may be a variable, or that may be a function, that may be a class, or so these are the main things like package or modules and so on. Those are some advanced concepts. So whenever you are preparing a Python program, that may contain some variables or functions or classes. So then whenever you are declaring these variables, first of all, what is a variable? So variable or identifier, nothing but which is used to store some value. So variable is nothing but which is used to store value. So for example, I wanted to store some value like name of my students. So for example, I wanted to store a Girish a name. So then I need to declare some variable like name equal to something like Girish. So this is a string data type. What is string, that we can discuss later. So just variable is nothing but which is used to store a value. And a function, already I told, right? It is a group of code, a block of code which is used to perform a set of actions. A class is also like where it is a, merged with, means we are going to declare a class with required variables, functions, and the importance of class is we are going to provide more security in the accessing these variables and functions. So we'll discuss with the use cases later about functions and classes. But in order to declare all these variables, functions, and classes, so there is some set of rules which we need to follow. So these are the standard rules when we are going to follow throughout our programming. Just a minute. So we are going to follow some standard set of rules. So what are those rules in order to declare an identifier is, so simply remember identifier nothing but it may be a function, or it may be a variable, maybe a function, variable, or class. So because most of the program we are going to create variables or functions or classes, first we need to understand what are the rules in order to declare these variables or functions or classes. So first rule is these variables names are function names. So the only allowed characters in order to declare these identifiers are alphabets, alphabets that may be capital letter and small letter, capital or small letters, digits from 0 to 9, digits from 0 to 9, and only allowed special character is underscore. Only allowed special character is underscore. So there is some special meaning for underscore that I will discuss. So if the variable name contains underscore, what it means, where we are going to use those variables, that we will discuss with example. And so for example, if I am declaring some variable, so this is correct, means it may contain only alphabets or it may contains alphabets along with digits like 0 to 9, or the variable may contains underscore. So this is also a valid identifier in Python. Even whenever you are declaring some function names. So function one. So this is allowed. And means these rules, whatever we are going to discuss, those are applicable for variables, functions, and classes. So only allowed characters are either alphabets, digits, or underscore. There is a special meaning for underscore that we will discuss. So first rule is it should having only these characters. And second rule is identifiers could not start with a digit. Could not start with a digit. Digit. So just I will open Jupyter Notebook in parallel so that directly we can see an example. So in order to open a Jupyter Notebook, just open your command prompt and open Jupyter Space Notebook. Type this. So then it will open Jupyter Notebook. This is through command prompt you are able to open. In case if you install Anaconda, directly open Anaconda Navigator. There you can find Jupyter Notebook. Yeah, so it is opening. So what I am telling is for example, if you declare like this is invalid identifier. And valid is, so name one like this, it may contain, but it could not start with a digit. So it is valid. Sub one is invalid. So let us open this. Still it is opening. Yeah. So these set of rules, whatever we are going to discuss, all these applicable throughout our Python programming. So that's why you need to be familiar with all those rules whenever you are creating a variable or class or function. It's taking some time to open. I will try to open Anacondas. Means you can use any editor, either Jupyter Notebook, directly through command prompt. I don't know, something happened. It is taking more time. So usually it will not take this much time to open the file. Just in few seconds, it will open the Jupyter Notebook. So let's open. I will show directly examples. So here Anaconda is opening. We'll see. It should not take this much time. I can do is. So because yesterday some new version is installed, right? That's why. So see here, for example, name equal to, so Girish. So this is fine. So it may contain only alphabets. So for example, name one equal to. So this is also fine. Ishwar. So if you print name one, so then it will print Ishwar. And if you print a name, it will print Girish. So these are the valid identifiers. So for example, if I start identifier with number, so that is not allowed in Python. So the syntax is defined in the Python as it should not start with the number. So let us try to give this. You can see invalid syntax. So it is not allowed number in starting of the identifier. This is second rule. And third rule is identifiers are the case sensitive. Case sensitive. So in your program, if you declare with the small letters and if you are trying with some capital letter, so for example, I declared small letter, right? So it is giving correctly, for example, print name. So if I print this, it is giving Girish. So for example, if I try to print capital letter like this, so you can see name is not defined. So it is completely case sensitive. Small letter is different from capital letters. So whenever you declare something in Python program, you need to use the same capital, means whatever the syntax you declared like small letter or capital letter, you need to use in the same way. If you try to access by mistake, if you given small letter as capital letter or vice versa, then it will gives you error. So that's why it is Python is completely case sensitive. Whatever you declared in either capital or small letter, you need to use the same thing throughout your program. And as I told, so only allowed character, special character is underscore. Apart from underscore, if you give any other special symbols, for example, name hash equal to something I'm giving Ishwar. So I think something. Oh, it is taking hash as a comment, right? I will try with another symbol. So because hash yesterday I told, right? Hash is nothing but comment it is taking because name variable is it is already there. It is giving Girish. So I will try something name star equal to Ishwar. You can see you cannot give special symbol, even dollar or any other symbol, special symbol. So in identifiers are function names or variable names or class names, special symbols except underscore, no other special symbols are allowed. So for example, name underscore, it is a valid identifier. So it is a valid identifier. But there is some special meaning with this underscore. So if a variable starts with underscore, so there is some special meaning with these variables. If a variable starts with underscore, so this is called as a private variable. Private variable. Actually, this private and public concept we are going to discuss in classes and objects, object-oriented programming. So private and public. So whenever, if you remember yesterday's class, I told something about sensitive information. For example, we are storing in a class, so we will get the variables will be secured. So what is private and public means? So if I make a variable as a public, so here I cannot show here directly if I declare underscore, I cannot show means maybe you don't know whether it is a private or public, but whenever you are going to declare within a class, so the variable we can call it as a private variable. So this variable is called as private variable. So what is private variable means? Only it is accessible within that class. Accessible within that class. So general meaning, private means it is only for specific thing. Public means anyone can access, right? Means if I declare outside of the class, for example, class A or class student, something I declared some class information where I declared some information like password, username, and so on. So password equal to ABCD and so on, something I declared. And if the variable starts with underscore, this is completely private variable. Only for this class it is applicable. Outside of this class, it is not accessible. So that is the meaning of private variable. And if I don't declare any underscore, so that is called as a public variable. For example, name equal to Girish. So this is a public variable. Anyone can access my variable. So this name variable is a public variable. Anyone can access this variable. But if the if the variable starts with underscore, that is a private variable. Only it is accessible within that class. And there is one more syntax. If the variable starts with a double underscore, if variable. So these concepts we are going to discuss during our classes object-oriented programming. So if a variable starts with double underscore, then double underscore. So the variable is called as strictly private. Strictly private. So what is strictly private means? In our object oriented programming, there is a concept called as inheritance concept. So inheritance concept means, for example, I have some class bank and I'm going to inherit. So don't worry about this inheritance. We at least 2-3 sessions I will take about this inheritance polymorphism. So for example, bank is a my main class. I wanted to inherit this bank class to ICICI Bank. What is strictly private means? So if I declare a variable with a double underscore like branch, so branch is something Hyderabad branch. So this is strictly private variable. Only this variable will be accessible only in the parent class. So main class, we are going to call it as parent class. So don't confuse with this object oriented programming. Just I need to give explanation about double underscore, right? I'm explaining. Otherwise, I will take some special use cases on this private and public. So just for this, so double underscore meaning I'm explaining. So what is this means? Double underscore means if I declare a variable with a double underscore, it is accessible in the parent class as well as child class. So if I declare a variable as a private, only it is accessible only within the class, only within the class if it is a private variable. If it is a strictly private variable means it is accessible within the class as well as its child class. So that is the difference between double underscore and single underscore. And there is one more concept called as starting with double underscore, and ending with double underscore, ending with double underscore. So like double underscore name and a double underscore. So these kind of variables are called as magical functions. Magical functions. There are a lot of magical functions in Python, like we are having. So those functions also we'll discuss with examples later, like double underscore, add double underscore. So there are some magical functions. What are its usages? So then we are going to discuss during object-oriented programming only. Subtract, double underscore, like this. Some special functions are there. What are these magical functions? Actually, there is a concept called as overloading and overriding. So in that concept, I'm going to explain these magical functions. So currently just remember, if a variable starts with double underscore and ends with double underscore, that variable in Python is called as magical functions. So these are the some important rules you need to follow whenever you are writing a variable name or function name or class name. It is applicable for entire Python programming. Means if the variable can contains alphabets, digits, and only special allowed character is underscore. Apart from underscore, no other special symbols are allowed. And so identifiers could not start with a digit. And so these are the, it is completely case sensitive. And these are the some meanings if the variable starts with underscore or double underscore. So just you need to keep in mind all these rules, because whenever you are writing Python program, strictly you need to follow all these rules whenever you are declaring a variable or function or class. So next, don't worry about this object oriented programming. At least 2-3 use cases I will take to explain this: what is parent class, child class, how to declare it, how to access all these functions. So someone is asking some question. Yeah, so one person is asking keywords are not allowed. So I didn't explain, I added that rule. But there is one more rule. So keywords are also not allowed. So still I didn't explain that keywords, right? I didn't added that rule. Keywords are also not allowed. Not allowed in identifiers. So there are some keywords like, so next topic is that keywords only. So there are 30 plus keywords in Python. So whenever we will finish all our sessions, we will cover all these 30 plus keywords. So currently 33 or something. These 30, why I'm giving 30 plus keywords means some new versions, something they are deleting some keywords, something they are adding some keywords. I mean, initially it is 33, now it is around 33 or 34 something. So these 30 plus keywords, for every new version, maybe they will delete some keyword or they will add some more keywords, but it will not exceed like 100 or 200. It will be just around 30 keywords. What are those keywords? We'll see. Means one person is asking whether keywords are not allowed in the identifiers. Yes, the answer is it will not allow keywords also in the identifier names. So for example, there are some keywords like if is one keyword, else is another keyword. Like this, we are having a lot of keywords, and these are not allowed in the identifier names. So for example, if equal to 1, something I written. So these keywords also not allowed in the identifiers. Keywords also not allowed. So this is also not allowed in the identifier names. So what are the keywords available in Python? How to check what are the different keywords available in Python is, so there is one package called as keyword package. If you import that, you can able to see what are the keywords. So there is package called as keyword package. So this is the package to see what are the keywords available in Python. So let us go to Jupyter Notebook. So as I told, how to import the packages is by using import keyword. So you can import any keyword by using import keyword. So import space, what is the package name? So this is the package to see what are the keywords in Python. And in order to print all the keywords, so keyword dot, there is one variable called as kw list. Kw list. So you can print all the keywords. So these are the keywords. Just I will copy paste. Maybe you can count later how many 30 plus keywords I told, right? So once you can print and you can count what are the different keywords, how many keywords are there. And if you observe the pattern of these keywords, so just a minute. So just copy paste and see these keywords. Only first three keywords are first letter is capital. So as I told, it is completely case sensitive, right? You need to follow these syntaxes. Except these first three keywords, remaining all are the small letters. In these three keywords also, only first letter is capital. Otherwise, these are also having small letters only. Only first letter is capital, and remaining all the keywords are the small letters only. You need to remember this rule also. Means all the keywords are small letter except these three keywords: false, none, and true. So no need to worry about these keywords, because once if I finish our sessions, we are going to cover all these keywords wherever it is required. For example, just now we used import keyword to import the package. Like this, whenever I'm going to discuss something, conditional statements, I'm going to use if, else, and also. Means wherever it is required, we are going to discuss all these keywords. So one rule about the keywords is, except first three keywords, remaining all are the small letters. Except first three keywords, remaining all are small letters. So as someone is asking, the identifier name should not be a keyword. For example, if I use one keyword yield, so I cannot declare this as a variable. So something I cannot declare this as a variable. So this is also one of the rule. So these are the four rules you need to remember whenever you are preparing identifier. Identifier is nothing but variable name or function name or class name. So throughout our Python programming, you need to follow these rules whenever you are declaring identifiers. So next, these are the keywords. Just you can also print, just import this import keyword package, and you can print keyword dot kw list to print the keywords. So import keyword dot kw list, which will display all the keywords. And now next important topic we are going to discuss in today's session is data types. Data types. In these data types, I told, right, primary data types, and secondary data types. So primary data types I will try to cover in today's session. And if anything is pending in secondary data type, we are going to cover in next session. So what are the different primary data types is int, float, string, bytes, not bytes, bool, complex. So these are the primary data types, and secondary data types like list, tuple, set, frozen set, dictionary, and like bytes, byte array, range, byte array, and range. So these are the secondary data types. First, we'll start discussing this primary data types and how to convert one data type to another data type. What is the need of data types in Python programming? And most important thing in our Python programming, we are going to use list, tuple, and in case if you face any interviews on Python also, they will ask the questions on list. Definitely, at least they will ask some simple Python programs to write on list, tuple, set, and dictionary. So these are the important data types you need to concentrate whenever you are learning Python programming. And whenever you are going to develop some applications also, each application, at least once or more times, we are going to use these data types. So first of all, what is data type? Why I require any data type? Means not only in Python, every programming contains data types. Maybe one or more data types are different, but definitely we require data types. So just give me a minute. So why? So data types are the one of the very important concept, even Java, .NET, or any programming language like Python also, these data types are important. So for example, what is data type means? For example, you are working with student database, student database or student data or something. So each student contains name and so like roll number and marks and like total marks and average of the marks. Let us take this simple example. Each student contains name. So name may be something XYZ, whatever the name of the student. A roll number, let us say 100, and marks out of 100, let us say something 98, and total all the subject marks. So this will be subject one. Let us assume subject one, and total marks will be around some out of 400, like let us say 380 something, and average maybe something 78.8, like this. If you see, each variable contains different types of data. First variable, it is a string variable. String variable is nothing but which contains characters, nothing but alphabets and so on, which is made up of characters, that is called as a string data type. If you see roll number, it is a number, whole number, so which is a integer, means there is no floating point, so just it is a whole number. Whole number is nothing but 1, 2, 3, and so on, which is made up of 0 to 9 digits. And subject one also, it is like a integer, means there is no floating point here. And total marks also, it is a integer. And average, if you see, it is a floating point number. Floating point means after 78.8, means it is having some decimal values in the digit. So like this is some simple example where student database contains some values. Let us say my students, there are 100 students. Each student is having their own name, roll number, subject, different subject marks and total. Whenever you are developing some applications, each application we are going to store lot of data. Each data having its own data types. Means if you storing student records or employee records or project related information, wherever you are storing some information in your project, that project requires a lot of these kind of data types. That's why every programming language has its own data types. These are the primary data types. We are going to discuss what each data type contains. And so based on these data types, we are going to prepare this secondary data types. So the basic need is whenever you are working with any kind of project, that project contains lot of data. Each data or each variable contains means its own data type like integer or float or string or complex or bool or list or tuple that we are going to discuss now. First, we'll start with these data types. So integer, very simple. It is a whole number, like the numbers are made from 0 to 9. So if the numbers are made from 0 to 9, that system is called as decimal system. Decimal system. So decimal system means the numbers, means the digits are from 0 to 9. Totally 10 numbers. By using these 10 numbers only, we are going to uh, uh, frame the remaining whatever the value you want, 10,000 or 20,000 or 1 lakh or 1 crore. So all the values are framed from 0 to 9 digits. That's why this system is called as base 10 system or decimal system. And so these integers are made from means by using 0 to 9 digits. And integer representation, either decimal system or there are a lot of other systems like binary system or octal system and hexadecimal system. Hexadecimal numbers are binary numbers or octal numbers or hexadecimal number. So binary numbers means 0 to 1, only 0 to 1. Octal numbers means the values will be 0 to 7. By using these digits only, we need to frame the numbers. And hexadecimal means 0 to 9 as well as after 9 A to F. So A, B, C, totally 16 digits. A, B, C, D, E, F. So how to convert? Actually, we know as a human, we are able to read 0 to 9, that is decimal system. If it is in a binary or octal or hexadecimal, directly it is not readable. We need to convert into proper format. Means as a human, I can able to directly read, for example, the number is something 100 or 5,000 or 7,007 or 8. So these kind of numbers directly I can able to read whichever decimal numbers. But if it is in a binary, I need to follow some steps or procedure to convert that binary to decimal in order to readable, in order to make it as a readable format. So, but in Python, directly it is providing lot of functions directly to convert one system to another number system. So, for example, so maybe all of you know how to convert a decimal to binary. So I'm not going to cover much into these hexadecimal or so just you can go through what are the different types of integer formats, that is integer, that is decimal system or binary system or octal or hexadecimal. Just I will give some simple example how you can convert binary system means, for example, 45 is there. How to convert that 45 to binary means you need to divide by 2 and then so just I will give simple example. Maybe you can try, but no need to do this manual also. Directly our Python will providing. So for example, 45 is there. So I hope this binary system everyone knows. We need to divide by 2, and so we need to add all those reminders in a reverse way. So here, so we need to divide by 2. 2 2s are 4, and 2 2s are 4. So reminder is no, not like this. So we need to divide not like this. So 2 2s are 4, 2 2s are 4, and remainder is 1. And you need to again divide this by 2, and you need to again this by 2, and you need to again remainder is 1, and 2 ones are 2, remainder is 0. And how I can write this 45 is, so 1 in the reverse way, all the reminders 1 0 1 1 0 1. So this is the binary representation of 45. So we need to divide that by 2, then we can get binary number of 45. If I want octal number, you need to divide it by 8. If you want hexadecimal number, you need to divide it by 16. But whether I need to do any manual in Python, not required. So for example, so there are some set of functions are there. So for example, 45, I need to convert into binary means. So there is one function called as bin. So you can see whatever the result we got, maybe you can verify if you done 101101, 101101, you can see the output. And here you are seeing preceded with 0b means it is a binary system. So how to identify which is a binary system or not means, so if nothing is mentioned, it is a decimal system. Decimal system. If it is starting with 0b or capital 0b, so then it is a binary system. So something 0b 11001. So this is a binary system. And so if it is starting with 0 capital O or 0 small o, so then it is called as octal system. Octal system. If it is starting with 0 small x or 0 capital X, so then it is hexadecimal system. So directly we are having all those functions, means bin of a which will convert that into the binary system. If you wanted to convert that into the octal system, we are having the function oct. If you wanted to convert into hexadecimal, we are having the function called as hex function. If you see, it is starting with 0 small o, it is starting with 0 small x. So like this we can identify, but in our representation in a human readable format, we are using decimal system. But if the system wants to understand all these things, definitely we need to convert that into the, means whenever you are storing something in the system, it will be stored in the binary format only. Our computer will not understand all these letters or text, whatever we are preparing with alphabets, that it will not understand. Internally, it will be stored in a binary format. So that how it will convert means there are a lot of functions in Python like binary or octal or hexadecimal. You can go through what is these systems, what are the advantages. Major intention is this is one data type called as integer in Python. In integer, there are a lot of other systems like decimal, binary, octal, and hexadecimal, and we are having predefined functions in order to convert one system to another system. So this is about binary, integer. So this is about integer system. Next we are having float. Float. And one more point before discussing this float. Python is a dynamically typed language. Dynamically typed language. So what is the meaning of dynamically typed language? Dynamically typed language. Can you just wait for 2 minutes? I'm getting another call from my office laptop. Just 2 minutes. So this is a dynamically typed language. So what is the meaning of dynamically typed language is? So for example, in if you see C programming or some other programming languages, I need to declare a data type. So for example, int a, if I wanted to store some integer value into a, and then I need to assign the value. So if I don't declare a variable with the data type, definitely will get an error in C programming. So we'll get an error in C programming. So it is not a dynamically typed language. First, you need to declare a data type and then you can assign the value to the variable. But Python is not like that. So based on the value assigned, it will take the data type. So I will show an example. So for example, I assign 10 to the variable a. So there is one function called as type function, which is used to check the type of the variable. Type of variable. So if I wanted to check the type of the variable, you can see type of a. So integer. So I didn't assign anything like in C programming int a, and I didn't declare anything like this. So by default, no need to mention any data type. By default, based on the value assigned, it will take the data type for the variable. That is the meaning of dynamically typed. Dynamically typed means based on the value assigned, based on the value assigned, something happened. Okay, so I'm not able to remove that. Okay, so based on the value assigned, it will take the data type of the variable. For example, name equal to this. You can see the data type. So print type of name. You can see it is a string. So I didn't assign anything like string name equal to Girish and so on. So but in C programming, that is mandatory. First you need to declare the data type and then you are able to assign the value to the variable. But in Python, based on the value assigned, it will take the data type of the variable. So let us see one more example, 10.9. So print type of a. So float. So here you will get one doubt. So for example, I assigned a equal to 10 and I assigned a equal to 10.9. So what is the data type it will consider is it will take the latest value which you assign to the variable. So it will take data type of latest value. Means first initially I assigned integer, so it is integer data type. Later I assigned floating point, so it is a float data type. So whatever the latest value you assign, it will take that latest data type for the variable. So that's why this Python is a dynamically typed language. And second data type we are discussing is float. So float is nothing but which contains floating point value. Floating point value. So whenever you are having some decimal values in your data, then you can use this floating point value. But this floating point values will not allow binary or decimal or hexadecimal. Only integer will allow binary and octal and hexadecimal, but in the floating point, it will not allow these systems. So for example, let us try to add this thing 0b11.11. So it will not allow. So this floating point is not allowed in binary system or octal system or hexadecimal system. Only decimal values contains floating point values. So decimal system contains floating point values, but binary, octal, and hexadecimal will not allow floating point values. That point also you need to remember. So this is the second data type. And third and very important data type is string. So this is the most of the data type. Most of the times you are going to use string data type in your programming. String means, for example, I wanted to add something about NIT Silchar. So I wanted to discuss something about NIT Silchar. I wanted to add some information. So and so branches like CSC, mechanical, IT, and so on. These are the branches. These many students are there. I wanted to add some faculty information. Means I wanted to store NIT Silchar information in my database. So what kind of database I require is string database. String nothing but set of characters. Set of characters that may be alphabets, that may be values like digits or any special symbols and so on. So then how to declare a string in Python? So next question is how to declare a string in Python. How to declare a string. So one thing is using single quote or using double quote or using triple single quote, triple double quote. So what is the meaning of this? We can see. So either single quote or triple single quote or triple double quote. So we can use to declare a string. So A equal to info about NIT Silchar. So NIT Silchar is located in Assam and so on, something I'm declaring. So if you print a type of info, it is a string. And even you can declare a string with double quotes. NIT Silchar having a lot of branches like CSC, mechanical, and so on. ECE, triple E, and so on. Whatever the branches you wanted to declare, you can declare. So this is also a string. So either you can use single quote or double quote to declare a string. So either single quote or double quote you can use to declare a string. But if I wanted to declare a multi-paragraphs, so for example, I wanted to declare something info equal to, so NIT Silchar located at Assam and it is having more than 5 branches. So engineering branches, more than 5 engineering branches and so on. I wanted to write multi-paragraph like this and so on. Whatever the information you wanted to add. So I wanted to write multi-paragraph. If I use single quote or double quote, it will not work. It will gives you error. So then in that case, how to declare? So how to declare single means multi-paragraph in Python is, so either I can use triple single quote or triple double quote. So triple single quote or triple double quote in order to give multiple lines in a string. So print info. So whatever you given, it will display. So if I wanted to give multiple lines as a paragraph or paragraph in a variable, then you need to use triple single quote or triple double quote. You can use triple double quote or triple single quote. And one more thing is, for example, I wanted to mention in the string, my father's name is, so something I wanted to give like this. So here what I require is a single quote in my string. So if I take something info equal to, if I try to use single quote, whether it will work. What I require, I need single quote inside a string. So if I need a single quote inside a string, if I use single quote, it will not work. Then how to declare a string with single quote? So if you want a single quote, you can inside a string, you can use double quote. If you want a single quote inside string, what you need to use? You need to use double quote. So print info. So my father's name is means I got single quote inside my string. If you want single quote inside a string, then you need to use double quote. You need to decorate it with a double quote, or vice versa. If I need double quote inside a string, then I need to decorate it with single quote. So for somewhere I want double quote means, so then what I need to decorate my string with single quote. So if I want double quote, I need to decorate it with single quote, vice versa. So like this, you can declare your string. And there are a lot of operations we can do on a string, like, for example, I wanted to add two strings, or I wanted to find some 10th character to 15th character. Means there are a lot of operations we can do on a string. We can convert lowercase to uppercase. That string operations, maybe in the next session, I will take string operations. There are a lot of operations we can do on top of the strings. So converting lowercase to uppercase or uppercase to lowercase, or we can do combining two strings, or we can find substrings and so on. So just we'll discuss some simple operation. Let us say name equal to or info equal to. So Girish is a good boy. Something I'm writing. So how this string will be stored? How I can access this string is, so maybe if you have some idea about C or C++ or Java or .NET, there is a concept called as arrays, right? Arrays in index will start from 0. So like it will start from 0 index. So first character will be stored at 0 index, and second character will be stored at first index, and third character will be stored at second index, and so on. So like this, it will store in other programming languages. Similarly, in Python also it will allow this kind of storing the string and so on. So 4, 5, 6, 7, and so on. Like this, it will store the string. So if I wanted to access the first character, how I can access? Info of 0. So if I wanted to access the first character, I can access, means first character means 0 index. I can access info of 0, which will give the first character. If I wanted to access third character, so then what I need to give? So 2. So third character means it is starting from 0 index, right? You need to give -1. Means if I wanted to access third character, I need to mention the index as 2. And one advantage in Python is, so this is forward indexing. Forward indexing. So that is accessing the characters from the left to right. But in Python, it will allow reverse indexing or backward indexing. backward indexing. That is, you can able to access the characters from the last also. So for example, how it will store means, so last character will be stored as -1, -1, and last to second character is -2, -3, -4, and so on. What, how many number of characters are there? But here the index will start from -1. So both forward indexing and backward indexing both are possible in Python if you wanted to access last character. So what I declared in info, last character is y, right? How I can access last character is, so info of -1. So you can see y. So info of -2 means it will give o. Info of -2. You can able to access both forward indexing and backward indexing. And let us say I wanted to access a group of characters from second index to some 10th index. So I wanted to access from second index to, so my requirement is second index to some 10th index I wanted to access. So that is, so there is a concept called as slicing in Python. Slicing. So what is slicing is variable name followed by start index and end index. Start index and end index. So for example, I want second index. So second index, so that is info of, so second index, don't confuse with second index. If you know second index, that is fine. So 2 to 10, I can give like this. If you want from second character, so don't confuse with index and character. If you want second character means this will be by 1. So if I want second character, so because index will start from 0, right? If I want second character onwards, then I need to give 1. If I want second index onwards, second index, this is the third character. So don't confuse with indexing number. Actually, index will start from 0, right? So it will start from 0. So that's why if you are talking second index means it will give from third character. Third character. So because it is starting from 0, if you call it as a second index means it will give from third character. If you want it from second character means you need to give like this. So you can mention start index and end index. So then it will give the required characters. So for example, if I don't mention any start index, so just I mention last index, I want 10th character up to 10th character. What it will start means it will start from the 0th index, means it will start from starting character and it will give up to 10th character. It will start from start character. And if I don't mention end character and if I give only start index, so what it will do means it will gives you all characters. It will gives you all characters. If I don't mention start and end index, so if I don't mention start and end index, so then it will gives you all characters. So this concept we can call it as a slicing. Slicing is nothing but you can able to access whatever the character positions you wanted to access. You can able to access the character positions by mentioning the start and end index. If you don't mention any start and end index, it will provide the entire string. So more about string operations, I will take a separate session. What are the string operations? Because for example, if you see any banking application or any government offices, they will mention a strict rules. For example, whenever you are saving your name, all the names should be in a capital letter. Or some government or some office, they will say only first letter is capital letter. They will say, means there will be different rules to convert string operations that we will discuss in later sessions. So this is about what is a string, how to create a string in Python, how to access the string characters. There is one more data type called as bool. So bool data type. So bool data type is nothing but boolean. So boolean. So boolean is nothing but there are only two values, that is true and false. Nothing but 0 or 1. This boolean data type mainly we are going to use to check whether the condition is true or not. So in those conditions, for example, I wanted to check for minimum eligibility to vote is 18 years. Means whenever I'm considering some election data, I wanted to see whether the person is major or not, whether he is above 18 years or not. I wanted to check some condition. So age is greater than 18. Means if it is a greater than 18, it will return true. If it is less than 18, it will return false. So basically, mathematically, true is nothing but 1, false is nothing but 0. So this Boolean data type, basically we are going to use to check the conditions, whether it is true or false. Whenever we are going to write next programs, we are going to use this Boolean data type, whether it is true or false. So for example, already if you see in the keywords, this true and false are there. So this is the true and false. Definitely first letter is capital letter in the true and false. So for example, C A equal to true, and you can see the data type is type of A. It is a Boolean data type. And let us say B equal to false, type of B. And what I'm telling is mathematically true is nothing but 1 and false is nothing but 0. Just we can see whether see here, just what I can do is C equal to true plus true I will do, and D equal to something true plus false I will do. So what you are expecting output here is true is what I told is true plus true is 1 plus 1, that is 2, it will print. You can see. So print D 1 plus 0, that is 1. Means internally how the true and false will be stored means it is 0 and 1. So that why it is called as Boolean data type, only two values, that is 0 and 1. By using that, mainly these true and false we can use to check whether the condition is true or false. If the condition is true, then it will return true. If the condition is false, then it will return false. And once if I start conditional programming, there we can get use this Boolean data types true and false. So only two data types, that is Boolean, that is true and false. And so these four data types usually we are going to use many times in our Python programming. So that is string, integer, float, and Boolean. And complex data type very rarely, and we are going to use complex data type. The syntax of complex data type is, so maybe if you remember complex data type, A plus BJ format. So that is 5 plus 1j or something like this, 2j. So if you wanted to define some vectors in that conditions, means if you need some mathematical vectors or so on, means this data type, basically we are going to use all these four data types very rarely based on your requirement. If you need any complex operations, then we are going to use this complex data type. 1 plus 2j, so something I declare. So print type of A. So it is a complex data type. And these are the primary data types. These five are called as primary data type. So integer, float, string, boolean, and complex. So these are called as a primary data types. There is one more concept called as type conversion. So maybe if you have any doubts, just message in chat box. So I will answer all your queries at the end. Maybe I will note down all your queries. I will reply separately also. So there is one more concept called as type conversion. So for example, in my programming, I declared integer by I want float, or I declared float but I want integer. So vice versa. Or I declared a string or I want integer or complex. So something like that. So that conversions we are going to call as type conversions or typecasting. We can also call as typecasting, converting one data type to another data type, converting one data type to another data type. So for example, by mistake, I declared integer for average marks. So by mistake in program, I declared average marks as a integer. Usually average, if you divide total marks by number of subjects, we can get the floating point value. By mistake in the starting, I thought average is a integer, but finally I'm getting floating point values. So how to convert integer to float or vice versa is, so there is one function. There are five functions like integer, float, string, bool, and complex. So these are the five predefined functions available to convert one data type to another data type. So integer converts other data type to integer, converts other data type to integer. So let us go to Jupyter Notebook and see. So for example, a equal to 10.9, b equal to true, c equal to false, and d equal to something c here. For string, I will tell you what exactly this. Whatever, even if you declare within a single quote, this is called as a string. And equal to Ishwar. So what I will do, print int of a. So int of a. So last one we will get an error. I will tell you why we will get error. So print c. So print d. So I will share this Jupyter notebook also. Maybe if anyone not practicing, maybe you can see all these examples later. See here, a equal to 10.9. So I declared a float, but I want integer. So I want integer. What it will do means it will remove this floating point. It will take only integer value and it will return integer value. That is fine. So int of true, so it is a 1. And int of false, it is giving a 0. And if you see, whatever I declared within a single quote, I'm telling that is a string. I'm declaring by mistake, I declared it as a string within a single quote. I want it as a integer. That is working fine. But if you try to convert the characters to the integer, it will not work because those are the characters, right? It will not. So one issue with this integer function is it is not able to convert if the input is contains characters. Into function limitation, it will not convert if input is string. If input contains characters. Even it is not able to convert Boolean also. For example, I will declare some not Boolean, complex a equal to 1 plus 2j, something I will declare, because here j is a character, right? If I try to convert that into the integer, you will get error. Cannot convert complex to integer. So why? Because it is containing j as a character, right? It will not convert that character to the integer. So in order to use this integer function, if it contains values, then it is able to convert. If it contains characters, then it will not convert. And similarly, float function, float of 10. So what it will add means it will add floating point value. So float of true. So float of false. So float of string 1, but float of Ishwar, you can see it will not convert. So it is a character, right? It will not convert. Even you can see complex 1 plus 2j. It is a character, right? It will not convert. And next, string function, string of 1. So to convert other systems to the string. So print a string of 1. So you are not seeing single quote, but internally it is a string. So if you wanted to see whether it is a string converted to string or not, what I can do is I will store it in some other variable, and I will show you the data type of this variable. Here, if I don't use print, it is displaying that single quote, right? In order to make confirmation whether it is a string or not, I can see type of A. So to convert other data types to the string, we can use string function. So same string of false. So you can see string of false and string of something 1 plus 2j. You can see 1 plus 2j. We are able to convert other data types to the string. And last, one more bool function, right? Here you can see what is bool will return. So a equal to 10, b equal to 10.5, c equal to 0, d equal to Ishwar, and e equal to 1 plus 2j. If I apply this bool function, only one place you will get false, remaining all other places we will get true. So in which place we will get false is, if the value is 0, then only it will return false. Then only it will return false. Remaining all the cases, wherever if you have some value, then it will return true. So if you wanted to check, you can check it. So bool of A, true. So bool of B, also true. So but bool of C, so since it is 0, right? So wherever the value is 0, then it will return false. Remaining all the places, it will return true. So bool of E. So if it contains some value means it will return true. If it is not contains any value, means only in the place of 0, it will return false. So this is about bool function and how it will convert complex. So actually we need 1 plus 2j format, right? What it will do means it will add plus 0j to your value. 0j is nothing but if I multiply 0 into j, that is 0, right? That's why it will, in order to make this format, a plus bj format, it will add 0j to the your value. So for example, a equal to 10. So complex of A, you can see 10 plus 0 j. In order to make that compatible format, A plus BJ format, it will add 0J to your value. So this is type conversion. Whenever by mistake, if I add some other data type, I need some other data type, then you need to use typecasting to convert one data type to another data type. This finishes complete information about primary data types. Primary data types. So primary data types, string, integer, float, string, bool, complex. These are the primary data types. By using these primary data types only, we are going to prepare next secondary data types. Secondary data types. So maybe what I will do is I will take 5 more minutes. I will cover one topic called as list. So because these are these secondary data types, whatever I'm going to explain, definitely if you are attending some interviews on Python, they will ask a lot of questions on these data types. So one of the most important topics which you need to learn in Python is list, tuple, set, dictionary. They will ask the differences between what is list, what is the tuple, what is the main difference between list and tuple, what is the difference between set and tuple, or what is the difference between dictionary and set, when I need to use which data type. They will give some scenario and you need to answer which data type is suitable. So I will take some 5 minutes to cover this list, and the remaining data types we can discuss in next session. So this list data type, first data type, what it means, what are the properties of a list. So list is defined as a group of elements stored as a single entity, stored as a single entity. So previously we saw different data types like integer, float, string, and so on. So what is my requirement is I wanted to store something information about. Uh, so I wanted to store some information about Giri's information like what is his name and how many marks he got, like uh, info. I wanted to store the entire information like Girish, name is Girish, and what is his roll number and how many marks, what are the total marks of him, and what is the average marks, and so on. If you see, this list is a group of elements and which will allow, so I will tell the properties. So which will allow multiple data types. So you can store integer, float, string, whatever the mixed data types you can store in a list. It is a group of elements. So what are the properties of list? We'll see with example what are those properties. So first property is insertion order is preserved. Insertion order is preserved. And second property is heterogeneous data types allowed. Heterogeneous data types allowed. And third property, duplicates are allowed. And fourth property, it is mutable data type. Mutable data type. I will discuss what is mutable data type. And if you wanted to create a list, it should be enclosed in square brackets. It should be enclosed in square brackets, then it is called as a list. So let us go to Jupyter Notebook. So info of some student I'm storing. So Ishwar and roll number is 1. Total marks is 370 and average is something 95.5 or whatever the other information located at Hyderabad. So whatever the information you wanted to store, just make it as a group of elements. So if you wanted to see type of info, you can see it is a list. And so first property is which will allow heterogeneous data types. Heterogeneous data types. Just now that is the example. Heterogeneous data types means which will allow multiple data type elements. Multiple data type elements. Data type elements. Heterogeneous data types means which will allow multiple data type elements. So you can see it is allowing integer, float, string. We can able to store multiple data types. So that's why this is the property of the list which will allow heterogeneous data types. And next property, if you see, insertion order is preserved. Means if I store the first element as name, it will preserve that order, and I can able to access that first element by using the index. You can see info of, so index how it will store 0 1 2 3, right? If I access first element info of 0, you can see Ishwar. Info of 1, so whatever order you are going to store, it will preserve that insertion order. So this is the insertion order is preserved means whatever the order you are going to store in the list, you are able to access through indexing. And heterogeneous data types are allowed. And next is duplicate values are allowed. So let us say list equal to L equal to 1 1. So let us say in my subject, let us say XYZ I am teaching. Some of the student marks are like 99, 98, 95, 96, 96, 96, 88, 88, 84, 85, and so on. So what I'm telling is list will allow duplicate values. So whenever your requirement is to show the to store the duplicate values, then you need to use list. So here the use case is whenever you require some duplicate values, then definitely one of the suitable data type is list data type. And last and important property is mutable data type. Mutable data type. Mutable data type means if you are able to perform some modifications on the given values, modifications, if you are able to perform modifications on the given variable, then we can call that as a mutable data type. So for example, if I'm able to insert or delete or update some elements, update or delete the elements from the list, then it is a mutable data type. So my list values are these values, right? For example, info is my list which contains Ishwar and Ishwar's related information. I forgot to add some information, age or what gender Ishwar is. I forgot to add that information. Whether I'm able to add that information or not in the list. See here, info dot add. So what are the different functions are available in the list? I will take a separate session. So there are a lot of functions are available. You can see info dot add. So not like this, not add. So the function is append. So you can see info mail is added. So for example, I forgot means by mistake I given the roll number is 1, but actual roll number of Ishwar is 10. So how to update? So what is the index of roll number? Index is 0 and 1, right? So 0 is Ishwar and roll number is stored at 1 index. So by mistake I given roll number is 1, actual roll number is 10. So you can see. So that's why if I'm able to do some modifications in the given list of values, then list is called as a mutable data type. So one important thing you need to remember is list is a mutable data type. And if you see remaining data types int, float, string, bool, and complex, these are immutable data types. So all the primary data types are the immutable data types. What is the meaning of immutable data types means we cannot able to change the values inside the that data type. For example, 1. So 1 is nothing but from first year onwards, 2023 or 2024, after 1000 years or 100 years, the value of 1 is 1. If I need another number, I need to use another value, but I cannot change the value of 1. 1 means always 1. And if I declare something 10.9, it is always 10.9 only. If I want new number, I use new number. Means the existing values will not change. Even if I declare something Ishwar in a string, this is a immutable data type. If I need another name, I need to assign another value. But these alphabets, whatever A to Z, these alphabets are the fixed alphabets. That's why we cannot able to change anything in these data types. These are called as immutable data types. But list is a mutable data type. So like this, we are going to discuss remaining data types in tomorrow's session.